Assalamu alaikum pitbulls. Today we dig out a past format and see where the journey takes us. The Klingon translator says it's going to be about cheap JDMs. For the Alpha Herberts, who only know German quality made by Volkswagen, JDM means Japanese domestic market, meaning cars intended for the Japanese market. The definition is being butchered, as is my meat when I finally meet a woman that identifies as a woman. And so the definition is being used for all cars that are built there, regardless of the market they are built for. That's why there are no right-hand drive cars. So what JDMs have to bring along is quite simple. They have to be from Japan and look like they were made out of an obscene manga that only Japanese sniffing wet panties can find cool. If problems with your bitchy girlfriend aren't enough for you, check out the Mazda RX-8. That's exactly what people who consider the internet uncharted territory would tell you.
What is that?
The RX-8 has a Wankel engine that is no ordinary reciprocating engine. This engine concept is as rare as finding normal people in Ohio.
Swag like Ohio.
Due to past Wankel engines, it is said to have poor reliability. It is cool though because it turns up to 9,000 revolutions per minute, or with the appropriate adjustment it can even turn more, needs little cubic capacity, and is therefore very light. Cart ignition coils, starter corking, bearing damage are the things you should keep an eye on. The sealing strips are the Achilles heel of Wankel engines, like a manchery for recovering alcoholics. If they are worn, the engine loses a lot of compression. You can solve this problem by installing ceramic reinforced sealing strips. Apart from that, the engine consumes more than others. Consumption of 15 liters is normal, as is increased oil consumption. This led to the Wankel engine not gaining traction in 1976, as there was a worldwide oil crisis and the Wankel engine was deprioritized. Like the incredibly fat striker in the District League, who can no longer go on after 4 steps. If you take care of the car and keep short oil change intervals, the car is actually reliable. In terms of shape, it is very sporty and even has 4 doors.
What?
The only bummer is that you have to open the front door to open the rear one. That may look a bit cringe when you sit in front naked and relaxed and the person in the back has to get out.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here.
Therefore, do as you do with greenies and social justice warriors that you put in the recycling garbage can because they demand more bike lanes and then ride on the street anyway. Just lock them in the trunk with the words, "Know your place." There are RX-8 models for 2,000 and around 20,000 euros. For a well-maintained model, it would probably be smarter to spend at least around 4,000 euros. Need for Speed junkies will be well served by spending around 1,000 euro for the body kit and spray painting it themselves. If you don't want to have a weird look, then you have to spend a little bit more. From my own experience, I can say that a new body kit and exhaust system work wonders, especially on the Mazda RX-8, almost like the haircut that all women love on men. The Mazda MX-5 NB also offers endless tuning possibilities. There are so many of them because the MX-5 has been endlessly built up and is one of the best-selling roadsters in the world. Consequently, there are enough of us brain amputees who want to change various things to be individual. This usually results in embarrassing garbage in the end, but here it's okay, as it just fits the car, and it was kind of made for it. The second-generation Mazda was built from 1998 to 2005, with 2 naturally aspirated engine variants. It will not win over any Eco Hearts, because it only has a maximum of Euro 3, depending on the version.
How dare you!
But anyone who buys a car on the basis of its Euro rating is doomed anyway. You can spend between 2,000 and 11,000 euros for a model. Because it weighs less than others, it is correspondingly fun to drive. According to Mazda, a small testicle with little weight is the epitome of a sports car. Accordingly, facelift models from 2000 onwards are the better choice because they suffer less from rust. Other than that, the flywheel from the clutch gearbox and the differential are problematic when the previous owner was an unsuccessful hobby drifter. Thanks to its toothed ring, the MX-5 is as easy to drive as it is for Manuel Neuer to score a goal.
What you saying, huh?
Why it's so popular is actually easy to explain. It's cheap and up for any kind of mischief. Almost like your favorite neighborhood chick, some of you might think, except that the Mazda is a loyal soul. Accordingly, such a car should be rewarded with a dubious body kit, lowering, new rims, exhaust system, and wild wrapping. Since the technology is so simple, you can try yourself like in a tantra group. Enough tutorials are available. Tuning parts are not even particularly expensive. A body kit, for example, is available for under 700 euros. If you overdo it, at worst, you'll just look like someone who dances to K-pop, has a Son Goku hairstyle, and is being mauled by his little sisters. The MX-5 tolerates a supercharger or a turbo kit quite well and provides for proper bowel movements in the pants of your passenger, who actually does not like you at all, but also has no desire to drive bus and train. The third-generation Honda CRX, also called the Del Sol, is as good as breakfast in bed. The CRX is based on the Honda Civic and was intended to compete with the MX-5. Honda has succeeded in this and even at a lower price. The special thing about the Honda is that it has a removable roof. Unfortunately, it was built only from 1992 to 1998 and only got a successor in 2010, who has nothing to do with the CRX. It is called the CRZ. The first models are already available starting at 1,000 euros. Getting a usable one for that price is as likely as getting Super 8 in a Bulgarian harbor brothel. Then various seals can quit their service and let water get into the interior, mainly in the roof, trunk, and door area. Since it's a VTEC engine, the engine needs revs to get off the ground. Since those up there already knew that in the 90S, the engine diligently withstands such revs. The D16Z6 engine is recommended here. This one is more downright and kicks into VTEC earlier, around 4,500 revolutions per minute. Make sure that the VTEC valve shifts properly, otherwise it will get you nowhere like an asexual girlfriend who would rather cuddle and talk to you about her stamp collection. Otherwise, there's the D16Y8 engine, which gets to work a bit more leisurely, like a deaf mute and cab driver with an eye patch. Both engines produce 125 GP. If you are lucky, you will find a CRX with the sturdy B16A2 engine. This one produces 160 GP and catapults you immediately into a troop leader position among Honda disciples. You stick the car with Japanese characters and a rising Japanese sun. This then guarantees you the president position in the local Honda rag club for failed people.
Ooh, that's a good one.
The timing belt should be changed after 100,000 kilometers. The supply is limited, and if you want to put it in your garage in the future, you would have to pay at least 5,000 euros. But for 3,000 euros, you can get a buyable model, where you only have to invest some sweat equity. To augment the style, you can install a new body kit, lowering rims and new headlights. Nippon-tuning.com will then be your new best friend. Either that or none at all, your choice. Even more tuning-friendly, even more reliable, and even more exotic is the Toyota Celica T23. Actually, this was supposed to be called T21, but that was too tricky for the engineers, and they then took the project down. The Celica is basically the predecessor of the GT86. This one won the Rally World Championship 4 times in the 90S, which is quite impressive, as it even says so on Wikipedia, making me seem more eloquent since I know the word rally. While you only get 2 naturally aspirated street versions, tuning-wise you can do quite a bit for relatively little money. Also here, Nippon-tuning.com is your friend in replacement, who doesn't try to claim parental support from you even though you simply want to play World of Warcraft for 8 hours. To the extent that the car always received new oil, the car will go to the next nuclear war with you to protect you from evil space monkeys. By 2003, some engines had piston ring problems, but Toyota then extended the warranty and fixed everything free of charge, because they can.
Just do it!
A car that you can get for somewhere around 1,000 euros and will cause quite little trouble is quite rare. The 192 GP version is more awesome, but rarer and significantly more expensive. Unfortunately, it's awesome because it's solid, rare, and took 7.4 seconds to 100. For an inexpensive 1999 sports car and 4 cylinders, that's a real announcement. Like the verbal clamps I have to give bicyclists when they go back to riding in the middle of the road, instead of on the bike path next to it. After I hit them, of course. Always true to the motto, first honk, then brake. So for around 3,000 euros, you can expect something solid. If the seller demands more, don't pay, and instead give the seller a proper bitch slap. In principle, you have a good and solid car, which actually does not show more than normal wear and tear. This is Toyota. Let's move on to a vehicle that, from the looks of it, could only have been a joke not meant to be taken seriously. The Mazda MX-3 looks so crappy that even Fiat Multiplas look at it with pity and spit at it. From the front, the Mazda looks like a passive-aggressive social worker who only has 3 hairs left on its head and whose distinctive bad breath makes him stand out negatively. But we are not that kind of people here on the channel, so we will not give the disadvantaged and the retarded a platform. As you know, it's the inner values that count, I've heard. The MX-3 is available with the 1.8-liter V6 engine. This was at that time the smallest built V6. This provides a decent sound and drives itself quite well. After 4 beers, you have certainly taken home a fat chick at some point. And did you regret it? Not me. It's fun until you get caught. The Mazda runs on a timing belt, is lightweight, and has front-wheel drive. So it's the perfect car for novice drivers who don't have wealthy parents. Or have wealthy parents who want to tease their son to the max with the look of the MX-3 and never tire of bringing up at family gatherings that their son, who BTW is adopted, drives an MX-3. The car is a real exotic and unfortunately convinces with the good V6 sound. If you don't care about good sound and just want an ugly car, then get the models with a 4-cylinder engine. It has 107 GP and doesn't really impress anyone, like Sandra Wagner in front of the goal. Good models are available for as little as €1,000. If the salesman insists on his price, show your handicapped ID card and make your point by shouting your name.
I'm Richard. I'm Richard.
Let's move on to the JDM, which penetrates even grandfathers and is unfortunately very hard to find. The Lexus GS. It has the 2JZ engine, but unfortunately only the naturally aspirated version. It is the same engine that was used in the Supra MK4. Consequently, the car is recommended purely because of its engine. Either you go through the headache of transforming a mid-size sedan into a mid-size sedan with a turbo and limited power delivery, or you go straight for the extreme JDM vibes and buy the Toyota Arista from Japan. The Lexus GS was sold in Japan as Toyota Arista until the 2nd generation, and only there it was available with the 2JZ GTI engine, the twin-turbo version of the Supra. Exactly the thing, which can easily withstand 800 GP with standard parts, and is used quite casually as a daily driver. But the steering wheel is on the right side of these models from Japan. In order not to be considered as retarded, one would have to fit all the parts into a European model, since in Japan, mostly only right-hand drive cars are on the road. Finding a GS is firstly hard, and secondly hard to get for under €5,000. But that's not my problem, and I don't give a damn. You might have more luck with the 1st generation IS, but only maybe. Well, it will also be scarce because there are also so few and they are also becoming more expensive. But it is theoretically possible. Therefore, if necessary, stop by your Polish brothers, who probably purchased all of them or committed procurement crimes. Here you can let the hardcore JDM fanboy hang out, get a 6-cylinder naturally aspirated, and with luck the 300, which also has the 2JZ naturally aspirated engine. Since it just won't break and has young-timer potential, it's likely to get more expensive. Show support by liking and commenting because I tell you to, and also subscribe to this channel because I tell you to. Thanks.